you can. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you can put your name. You know.
Okay, just a minute.
Mm-hmm. I can't get on. I can't.
Headline. Okay, enter studio.
Okay, in a studio. Let's see. It should say you're backstage or something sometime. Or is it just you by yourself?
It says, by entering as a guest, you agree to streamline StreamYard's terms of service and privacy policy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay.
Go for it. Come on. It says that my mic is working.
Okay, mic's very good. Because see that it should say StreamYard, and then that after that slash up there should say 4Z66. That's like the ID, you know, up there on in your address bar. Do you see that? If you don't see that, then you're not in mine. It's 4Z.
There's a red camera right after AA, StreamYard.com. And underneath that, it says StreamYard Studio.
Okay.
And underneath that, it says StreamYard up at the upper left-hand corner, and then there's a picture of me in all my glory.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's not the one that I'm in. But let me. Yeah, I don't know where did you go. Yeah, but this. I don't even know where you're. You're in the Matrix. Oh, there you go. You're there. There you go.
I am, and there's a little tiny beautiful boy. Am I talking to that kid? And then there's you laughing like you think this is funny.
I did not.
Your head.
You're right. Okay, you're right. How are you doing?
I know.
But I don't think you need the phone though, Miss Elliott. You don't need the phone though. You can talk to me right through. Can you hear me? Oh, you're over there.
I can. All right. You want me to hang up?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll hang up. Now
Okay.
I'm no longer on the telephone. Now I have to get things. Just a minute. Now I have to get this set up so I don't look like I'm all head and know nothing else.
Take your time. Take your time.
Just a minute. I'm gonna take my time.
Yes,
why wouldn't I? That's all I got right now is time. All right. Now that's
make
better
sure I
for
got
me.
my volume up so everybody can hear. Okay. Can you hear me pretty good? How's it sound? With sound check. This is mic check. 1, 2, Miss Elliott. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Why do I have that big thing of light across there? That's interesting.
Oh, that's right behind you. That's in your house.
I know that's it behind.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay, all right.
I know where it is. Just a minute.
Okay, take your time.
I've gotten up 4 times already, and you don't know.
See, you know what? I should have prepared better.
Getting
Yes,
down
ma'am.
is no problem. Getting up is a bitch. Okay, now is that better? Let's see if it's better.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't call me ma'am. Isn't it
bad enough
I'm 91 without somebody calling me ma'am all the time? Oh, that is better. That's a lot better. But it's
Auntie Jane. Yeah, yes, ma'am. We gonna say auntie, guys. Like that's auntie. Because we cousins. How long ago? How down is you say we 50th cousins? How is it?
What?
Like how you? I know you say like normally, you know, the melanated, you know, culture is we're cousins, right?
Yes,
okay.
We're cousins. We're 30th to 50th cousins.
30th
and cousin,
to 50th.
I'm going to go in and get my AirPods.
Okay. Take your time. Yes, ma'am.
Don't go away because I won't be able to find you again.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This is just so cool right now. Y'all, this is the coolest shit ever. Oh, man, this is crazy, man. I'm talking to Miss Jane Elliott. Like, this shit is not real. I gotta puff my face. This is crazy. I don't have no questions written down. I just need her help in this country.
Now be careful. I'm hearing you now.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's cold. See, that's cold. I didn't say nothing. All good. Okay, now I don't have like no set of questions. I just want to know first, how you doing? How's it going in Iowa? Right? Correct.
Well, it has been raining all day. It has been absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
It's just totally lovely.
That's so
But if the temperature goes down a few more degrees, it'll be snowing, and that won't be so lovely.
Oh, right. Have you ever been to Austin?
Right. Austin, Texas?
Yes, ma'am. Have you ever been?
I think so, but I've been to lots of places in Texas, so I've probably been to Austin.
Okay, I'm pretty capital. It's the capital of the state. But yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
I've probably been there. I've
yeah.
given speeches all over the place.
Right. Well, just to kind of get straight into it, just because of I'm like not a podcast or anything. This is a concerned, male in my essence. So I don't want to think this is for any
all
clout
right.
or anything. Yeah. I
All
mean,
right, concern male. What do you need?
okay. Mainly, okay, so I associate with, what we would consider a culture of that's considered more on a the tough, hard black male gangster, kind of facade. That's actually a narrative that you can spin how you want. But I just wanted you to pretty much just give the insight on how confused, and how much of the game that that some of our people are like basically playing, from a perspective. I just want to know from your your perspective, what have you learned on your journey on how crooked things have been for life?
What I've learned on my journey is that how anyone can succeed in a country in which you are called a word that means savage and evil.
Okay.
How any person can surmount those words and those expectations and make it in this society. How any mother of one of those males manages to raise reasonable, cooperative, good citizens in the United States of America, in which they are called by a name that means savagery and evil.
Right.
I want to know how it is that you are expected to live beyond that when on a daily basis you are called a word that means that. Now, I know that to you, the word black is not a pejorative, but the word black in the dictionary means savage and evil.
Yes, ma'am.
And it
Webster.
means very, very dark, but very, very dark to almost black, but not black. You aren't black, and I'm not white.
There you go.
I will be seen as and expected to be somebody who is pure and good because I'm white. Number one, I'm not white.
I mean, okay, there we go. Okay. Sorry.
There we go. You are expected to be savage and evil. And if you aren't, then those people who expect that of you must be wrong. So in order for them to prove that they aren't wrong, they will force you to live down to their expectations of them. And that's what's been going on in this country for 300 years. Right. 300 years is long enough. Exactly. It's long enough to have learned that, number one, there are no black people. Number two, the dark brown people, the light brown people, the brown people you're seeing are all from Africa, and so are all the rest of us. Because without blacks, there would be no whites, period. And you can argue that until hell freezes over. That's the way it is. Exactly. Yes, I know there are Neanderthals. And if you think it's really good to be a Neanderthal, you look at Mr. Trump. He has the characteristics of a Neanderthal because a large part of him is Neanderthal. So come on.
Bless his heart. Come on now, Miss Elliott. Now, bless his heart. He's already in court. I've been to court and trial. I haven't been to trial, but I know what it's kind of like to be on the criminal side. It's the wrong thing, but I'm sorry.
Hey, what you're doing is trying to convince the world that the words that have been used to describe you in the past don't really describe you, but you're going to use them because you're using it to contradict what we have learned over the last 300 years. Okay. You have to spend your life trying to get what I am accused of being just by an accident of birth. I was born looking like I'm not from Africa. Right. So I'm okay. You were born looking like you might have come from Africa, so you're not okay. That's right. That's the way we educate in this country. We lie if we have to. We die if we must. but we will send you to die in answer to a lie because you're available.
Okay. But what about that? What about that guy, that kid that actually got the scholarship, got the contract to go play for the, the big NFL team? You're giving the money.
Oh,
Did he make it?
wait. Is he playing for the NFL team or is he working for the NFL team?
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. Now you see, I'm going to say something that your audience, if there's anybody listening, are going to be really furious about.
You let their ass have it. I'm sorry. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Professional basketball, baseball,
Mhm.
football,
Mhm.
wrestling is
Mhm.
another form of slavery. And nobody wants to hear that. And people come down on me like a duck on a June bug. Look
I'm,
at the things these people are able
I'm
to
sorry.
afford because
Boxing.
of our
I'm
what?
sorry, they don't know about boxing. I heard boxing actually was when the biggest slaves used to get together and fight till death. Like it
Yes,
was
and
in
I
the dead
remember,
on.
but wait a minute. But I remember Joe Louis.
Okay.
I
Okay.
remember Joe Louis.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God, what a fantastic athlete and what a fantastic person. And people, my father almost worshipped the ground Joe Louis walked on. And all we had was a radio. All we had was a radio.
Oh,
But
right,
he
right,
would say,
right.
"Now shut up and listen. We're gonna hear it. Now shut up and listen." And in our heads,
Yeah.
we would make a picture of what Joe Louis was doing, and we didn't picture him white. We pictured him a dark brown man
Yeah.
who
Okay.
was absolutely brilliant, who had the skill, the talent, the
Yeah.
ability, the knowledge. My father held him up as, look at what he can do.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was just, so the fact that he didn't look like us
Mhm.
wasn't the point. The point was, look at the skill that man has and look at his courage and look at how he keeps doing it every week. It
Right.
was absolutely marvelous. And
Okay.
I think that professional sports
Yes, ma'am.
used to be that
Mhm.
until a whole bunch we realized how brilliantly these melanaceous and melanotic men could work in the athletic endeavors.
Right. Right. Right.
So all of a sudden we allowed them into sports. I remember when you couldn't play baseball,
Yeah.
professional baseball, if you
Negro
were
League.
white.
Mm.
It took us a
Oh, if you
long
were
time,
white.
but
Oh.
now, oh yeah,
Oh.
if you weren't white, no. If you weren't white, you couldn't get in to professional sports. And then suddenly, I can't remember exactly the year, but suddenly they were there, and then they were there in increasing numbers. And then all of a sudden, it was a whole different thing. Now, Jackie Robinson. Do you remember Jackie? Of course you don't.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Look
ma'am.
up
Well, I don't
Jackie
remember.
Robinson. Yeah, well,
I'm done. Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah. So you see, when we can use you, we don't abuse you.
Mm. Okay.
But if we can abuse you in order to use you, then that's what we'll do.
So
And that's
Austin's
what we do.
So Austin's being considered gentrified right now. A lot of white folks from California because of the talk to me. Come on, what's going on, Auntie?
Well, they're going to move you out of those good houses and those good neighborhoods and get you
If I don't
someplace else
sell,
so that they can sell those to white people.
a lot of them have broke. A lot of grandmas and them investments are gone. A lot of people sold. A lot of people sold out. A lot of people sold out. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely, because the money was there, and they might be able to buy a house that didn't cost quite so much in another neighborhood. But I can guarantee you that the streets in that neighborhood aren't going to be as good as the ones they're building in the neighborhood they were living in.
But
The
talk
schools
to
aren't going to be as good.
right,
The
right.
schools aren't going to be as good.
Uh-huh.
The places where you can buy groceries aren't going to be as good. I lived in Waterloo, Iowa for over 10 years.
Okay.
My husband ran a grocery store for the National Tea Company in the north end of town. That was what we called the black section.
Okay. Wow.
And we lived on the west side.
Uh-huh.
We didn't dare talk about his business because the people on the west side didn't want to talk to anybody who did business on the east side of town because that was a black section. He had one black employee
Uh-huh.
in the supermarket. He had lots of white ones, but he had one black employee.
Okay.
Jackson. I think his last name was Jackson. I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He decided to go to college. So he had to quit and go to college.
Right.
So Gerald didn't have a black employee. So the head of the local NAACP came into the store and said, "Daryl, we're going to pick at your store." This was in the 60s. Why would you do that? Because you don't have a black employee. Find me one. No, we want to pick at your store. So she set up to pick at the store, the National Tea Store, which was the only grocery store in the north end of Waterloo. So of course the district manager came in and said, well, I'm gonna take care of this. They closed the store. The only groceries. Oh yeah. I've been through this. I hated this. I'm telling you, they closed the store. They built a store on the west side of town. And Daryl said to them, don't build that store on the west side of town. These black people many of them don't have cars. This is the only place they can get their food. Do not do this to them. They won't go across the river to that other store. They said they can starve if they don't go across the river to the other store. We're moving the store. They moved the store. The store didn't make any money. They fired Daryl because the store wasn't making any money. They hired another manager. The store closed. So it cost the National Tea. Yeah, it cost the National Tea Company a whole lot of money. And national tea companies, national tea stores all over Iowa suffered the same thing, because if one of them is going to do it to us, then why don't we decide we won't trade with any of them? Cost National Tea Company a lot of money. And it cost Daryl his job. So then we moved to Riceville. And I did the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise, because I had seen what happens if you allow gentrification and if you allow racism to dictate your life. I saw what happened.
Oh man, you did this in the 90s. And see, I was only 5. Why you just didn't wait until I see? But no, but Miss Elliott, how about the main thing I kind of wanted to touch on was is gentrification, is it a color thing or is it a greed thing? Is it, you think? I mean, because I see what's going on in Russia,
Wait, what racism is all about greed. It's all about greed. Yes, and it's all about the fact that racism is an extremely profitable venture. Mm-hmm. You can make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money by paying people less and making them work harder, by putting them in schools across the freeway, in ugly schools, and selling them the worst possible kinds of living in houses. And you can make money doing that. And we do it all the time. We do it. It's a if you haven't read the book The System by Robert Reich, you better get it and read it, because he talks about the business roundtable and how profitable racism is. And if you haven't read the book The Color of Law, you better get it and read it, because you don't understand what's going on or why it's happening until you read The Color of Law. There's just one page in there. You want to hear something off just one page in there?
Yeah, well, no, I haven't read none of that. Actually, when I was actually in jail, I did touch on the pale of the white. What was it? The Behold of the Pale White Horse. But some of the things I was reading, it's kind of like some of this stuff is already kind of in us spiritually, I believe, in regards to just like on how we're able to, work with what our connection with the universe, kind of ordeal is. So, I mean, I do understand though how, there's been so many avenues that I shouldn't say white folks, but I mean, the people have taken, and, in order for us to fail. And I mean, golly, I mean, people don't see what with so many $1 trillion in debt. I mean, what do we do in order to, get back into a place where we're treated equal? Why are we treating refugees better than the people that are here?
Because we can send them back. And we don't owe them anything. And they will be grateful to us. They will be so grateful. Yes, let's take in all these refugees. I think it's a wonderful thing to take in the poor and the destitute and those who need help. But I think it's more important to take care of the people who were here first.
Thank you.
And those came later, and those who came later and who are still here, but are still being treated as if they don't belong here.
It's so sad. I mean, I know the prison system. See, Texas got the most prisons in the country, so I know the business in it. It's crazy how for one inmate.
How much money does the prison make? You want to take off
of one? I think it's like 15,000 off of one inmate, right, or something. It's like crazy.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful. It's really bad. And people don't realize that prisons are. And that's part of the economy. This minute I dropped something.
Oh, shit! Take your time. Take your time.
Oh, I'm gonna take my time.
They're camps. They're like little camps.
Well, They are places where you send people to work for how much a day, and then the money that they earn while they're doing that work is given to the people on whom they committed crimes.
Right.
So they don't even get the money that they earned while they were working for nothing for the prison system. Prison
Free
system
labor.
is another,
Free labor.
yeah,
Yeah.
free labor, yeah, but
Yeah,
it isn't free because somebody's using their butt, muscle, and bones
Yeah.
in order to do this for a crime that a so-called white person wouldn't have been found guilty of a crime.
That's
the
a
things
lot.
that we charge. Yeah, we charge males of color for things that white males, so-called white males, get away with on a daily basis. And if you don't believe it, just watch what's happening with the Trump trials this week.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely horrendous.
Circus.
No, a circus is fun. This ain't no circus.
Yeah. This is a reflection though of something. I mean, because I think we're being showed this for reasons.
This is a plantation. This is a circus. This is a plantation.
There you go.
And we know who are running, and we know who are running it. We know who own the big house. We know who's going to sleep in the cabins. We know who's going to go to work in the morning. We know who's going to go to work, keep on working at night after us white folks are going to bed.
Okay.
We know who's going to run this show, and we know who's going to be the one that they're running. And I'm sorry, people are going to say, it's not like that. I don't see it that way. I don't care how you see it. As long as that's the way it is, that's the way I will describe it.
That's right. And you cannot, we don't run away from facts over here. We deal in logic. But tell me about this. Tell me about that young kid that actually may have just lost his parent, but inherited, a substantial amount of money. He's never had it before. He's been, kind of basically confused and tricked. So he has a lot of money, let's just say 60,000. And, he's just kind of just out here. He doesn't have any plan. What would you tell him he needs to do with that $60,000 if he wants to continue to be, at least successful? But he does have the, he's dealing with his parent dying, and what do you tell that young black kid or that young nephew, your nephew?
I'd tell him to get to the nearest black bank.
Come on, okay.
If you can find one.
Yes, ma'am. Greenwood.
To say to that person, hey, call Killer Mike, and he'll tell you what to do with it, and he'll tell you where to put it, and he'll tell how you use it. Now, he said some things lately that make me really cross, and he hasn't called me because I think he knows.
Killer Mike, I'm
really cross about some of the things.
No, I got Killer Mike. I'm gonna need for you to get to it and call Amy like ASAP. She needs to talk to you. Okay, go ahead, Amy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I have great admiration for Killer Mike and for that other lovely man who was in the movies and is brilliant. He isn't a star. He's a worker in Hollywood, and he's just fantastic. What's his name? T.I.
Harris. Tip. Okay. Tip. Got a good report.
Tip. Yeah. If those two guys ever got together, they could change the world.
Oh, y'all hear that? Oh, you just said it. So, hey, we're going to try to see if we can share this to them. Let them know that they got the actual power to change the world. I like that. Yes, ma'am. I think so, too. It's a lot of people that got that power.
Hey, listen to me. Don't tell that around, because if the government finds that out and gets absolutely determined to put a stop to them, they will.
Okay, but what about if we got proof that they are using this? Can we don't have no chance. I'm sorry, in the court of law, really. I'm sorry, but I don't get it.
You're dreaming if you think they can't get away with it. You don't think.
I know they can't. I know it. Yes, ma'am.
You don't think the person who shot Martin Luther King did it all by himself?
Oh, couldn't have. Not Kennedy neither. I was inside.
No, not Kennedy. Absolutely, they both were. And if Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. had gotten together, they would have upset this whole thing. So Malcolm X got killed by one of his followers, supposedly, and Martin Luther King Jr. got killed by this nutcase. But somebody had to pay him to be there and pay him to do what he did. So as far as if you can prove to me that either one of those two men was killed by somebody who wasn't in the
Islam
by the government, I'll be very, very surprised.
Well, see, yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I might have to look this up again, but I believe somebody did come out right before they passed away in regards to the whole ordeal with the FBI blaming it on the Nation of Islam or something like that. But I believe this was an actual FBI agent. Yeah, that came out and said that it was the FBI that actually did it and kind of framed the Nation of Islam. So I do know the government gets wicked. I mean, trust me, I do know.
If you think white people will do what they have to do to maintain their power, but now they are fully aware that within 20 years, white people, so-called white people, will be a numerical minority in the United States of America, and they're working as hard as they can to see to it that that doesn't happen. And if you think they aren't working at it, you want to remember that Donald Trump closed the Planned Parenthood clinics because he was quite certain that Planned Parenthood clinics were being used by pale-faced women to get abortions. So he closed them. He put a wall along the southern border of the United States because he said, we can't have those brown-skinned people coming in here because brown-skinned people reproduce too rapidly.
Yeah, and
he's trying to
keep South America. That's still America. They're still America.
White people from becoming a numerical minority. And the only way he can do that is by forcing white women to have more babies and refusing to let people of color come into this country for any reason. Now, imagine this country without people of color, what we call people of color. Imagine how small the population would be if we only have colorless people here.
I'm trying to think about how traffic will go. Wasn't it the black man that did the stoplight, wasn't it? How does traffic move without black people? I mean, we all need each other, though, yeah. How does traffic? Oh, it'd be a lot of rent. It'd be a lot of insurance claims.
But first, you have to realize that we are all the same people.
There you go. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Human. Yes, ma'am. And
if you have children, your children are just as valuable as my grandchildren and great grandchildren.
That's right.
But they aren't treated that way, and they aren't educated that way, and the expectations are different. And I want that fixed, and I want it fixed now. While we still have the power and the opportunity and the ability to put a stop to this thing called racism.
Yes, ma'am.
We could kill it if we chose to.
Now that was scary.
Kill it as long as the people in the we could if we chose to. We could get rid of racism. We could educate our way out of this.
But what you said, that
I've done it. I know.
Oh, sure. But you said though that in about the next 20 years that if white people could be looked at as the minority, and then not long ago we just had this thing happen in January 6th. I mean, that could they really be like trying to get situated for another that we got attacked. That was a terrorist attack on January 6th. If we want to be honest, like to do that to the Capitol, like I think that that's kind of dangerous. We have to consider that if these people are going to put him in a position to run.
Wait a minute. That was an attempt. That was an attempt.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
I'm losing you.
There we go. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
You're cutting out.
Hold on. Okay. Try it.
You're cutting out.
Uh-oh. Okay. How about now?
No, I can't. I can hear you now. Okay.
There we go. Okay. That was an attempt. You said that was an attempt.
What that was Donald. That was Donald Trump's attempt to become Hitler.
Okay, I was thinking Putin.
That's what this Trump thing is all about.
Yeah.
No. He didn't study Putin. He studied Adolf Hitler.
Wow.
And if you haven't read that book, get it and read it. Yes, he did.
Wow. And that's so.
Get the book.
How are we even considering letting him run though? Like, I imagine that though. I mean, we ain't got a chance in hell to even try. I mean, and there's a lot of people. Yes, ma'am.
There are a lot of ignorant people who are suffering. There are a lot of people who are suffering from self-imposed ignorance. If they turn off their televisions and put their little handsets away and pick up a book, if they would just read the book when at times the mob is swayed. Today,
Okay.
Tomorrow, they would no longer be interested in voting for a Donald Trump.
Okay.
And if they would read white evangelical racism, they would no longer be voting for the Christian nationalists. They'd take one look at that situation and say to themselves, we can't have this. We are not going to become a theocracy. If they would read white evangelical racism, it would make a difference in the way they treat people who are demanding that we all become good Christians. Because right now, the way that Christians are acting, good Christians is an oxymoron. Two terms put together to make us an opposite statement. We are neither good nor Christian, and the way they're behaving right now is neither good nor Christian.
And it seems, I mean, it seems so fixed because of the contradicting. And I didn't think people could do that, like literally use, you know, our Lord and Savior, you know, to make a dollar off of. I think that's kind of the worst way. I mean, but there's so many people that, oh, it's bad. That's bad because now it's being exposed.
Hey, we've been doing it for 2,000 years.
I know, that's crazy.
We've been doing this for 2,000 years in the name of God.
And
think about that.
It hurts when you say it like that. It hurts. Wow.
You can pretend it isn't happening.
Yeah, that's
but
what
you have to live with it, and you might as well admit what it is. We are using our religion to force people to do things that they wouldn't do if we didn't force them to do it, because God won't love you if you don't do this. Well, wait a minute. The person who says, do this today or God will hate you, tomorrow will say, do this today or I will annihilate you.
Right. Now, and see, my family, though, see, my grandmother, you know, wasn't as, I can honestly say that my grandparents were not as brilliant, but they were very intelligent. But to be, you know, to basically have us baptized and not know all of this, I had to go learn all of this. So therefore, when I made my own decision and when it came to religion, to me, religion hadn't did nothing but divide us even more. You know, so I was like, I served that God that everybody was serving before Christ, like that one-on-one connection with the Spirit. I wanted the Spirit. I didn't want the word, like how Charleston White would say. But I wanted that word. You know, I mean, I wanted the Spirit. I'm sorry. I feel my grandma and them had the word, but I think this is a spiritual journey we're on around these times.
Oh, absolutely. I believe absolutely in a higher power. I believe that God in heaven isn't up there. I believe it's right here.
Yeah.
Right here. All you have to do, I'm serious. All you have to, right now, when you're breathing, hey, breathe out, and then breathe in. Now breathe out. Can you see the air that you're inhaling?
I didn't see it.
Can you see it?
No, ma'am, I didn't see it. It was there though.
No, of course you can't. But does that mean? Yeah, it was there. Well, that's the way heaven is. It's right. You just when you die, you simply pass into that other dimension.
Yes, and that's all it takes. A lot of this is a state of mind. Mm-hmm. Right. I think we go every night. I think we go every night. When we go to sleep.
Well,
when we dream.
It's a state of. I'm not sure about that, but I know that your mind is pure energy. Sure. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It was here before you were born, and it will be here after you die. Your body will die, but your mind will not.
Right. Okay. So though, is that not a little? That's a little cross paths when we dream, right? When we actually wake up and we can kind of remember what we dreamed. Wasn't we just in that place that we may go after we transition?
I hope not, because I don't want to go where my dreams go.
You know what? It's 9:00. You know what? See. This is too much. I cannot believe I'm talking to Miss Elliott. I'm sweating. You see me? I'm so nervous. I got to get off of here.
And you see, I'm not.
I know it.
I wonder what he's going to do with this. Okay, all right.
Man.
Are you recording this?
It's on a StreamYard, yes, ma'am. But it's like it's it's not.
Don't send it to anybody else.
It's for me. I'm gonna send it to you. Definitely, I'm gonna send it to you before I would post it. But if people wanted to, they could have seen it. Yeah. But I mean, sure,
that's all right. Don't tell them where I live. I don't want anybody coming up here.
Oh no, definitely not. No,
I've been threatened with that so much it's a kind of a joke now.
That's so crazy. But this is this new era. What do you think about AI and artificial intelligence? This new way of technology that's coming.
See, when they first said AI, artificial intelligence, because I'm busy doing other things, I thought they were talking about Trump's brain, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
No, it's something real, real big, and so it can't be Trump's brain. Artificial intelligence. Because I know he doesn't have real intelligence, so it must be artificial intelligence. And then it occurred to me, oh my God, Jane, don't be dumb. What they mean is, okay, we'll forget that I said that. But I think we've been dealing with artificial intelligence for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Military,
but we just didn't call it that.
Oh, okay.
We just don't call it that. We do. It's done quietly behind our backs, and we don't realize what's going on. We just go through our lives, doing what we have to do in order to survive. And they make it difficult enough for us to survive that we better keep on working, or we won't survive.
There you go.
So I'll keep on struggling along, and I won't worry about what I can't see or what isn't right in front of my face, because I've got to deal with what's right in front of my face.
When I knew we were doomed, I knew we were doomed when they came out and said that there's real evidence that there were aliens, and we didn't go into a panic. Everybody was like, all right, yeah. I was like, man, they said there's aliens. What are we doing? Like, that's scary. What the heck? Like that, but they're confirmed. The government is coming out with all kind of stuff now, saying that it was a landing in 2020. I knew Roswell. Something was up with Roswell when I read about that. I knew, like, y'all made that man come out and say it was a weather balloon. Really, y'all wrong. They wrong for that.
And what difference does it? What difference does it make?
If it's gonna happen to me, I don't know if they looking at Texas and Mars and gonna fall on Texas, because they don't like Texas. We should have been separated from.
Why would anyone want to take Texas? Come on, get real.
I'm here.
Well, I know if you don't like it, get away from Texas.
No,
if
really,
you think they're aliens, move on.
No. This internet, it gives us the access to trick our own self, and that was something that was always interesting. I'm always eager to learn, just curious George, And so some of this stuff, I do agree when he said that there is some fake news getting published, and I was like, I didn't even think you could do that. But people don't even care if their name get drugged through the mud or sue or nothing. Like, it's so much that you just have to decipher now, and it's like it's hard to it's good to get the information from the actual, like, real source, because I believe you and of the people of my elders are the source. Y'all are connected.
No, the source is books.
Sure.
Buy books, read books, read books, read books, read history, real history. Read real history.
Well, because they're trying to get rid of that too. Yeah.
Well, hey, that's what they're doing in the schools right now. They are taking out of the schools all the things of the past that white folks did or Americans did that were wrong. Yeah. Because these people, like the governor of Florida, said, we don't want our children to feel guilty about the past. You don't have to feel guilty about the past. What you have to know is what happened in the past, so that you will feel responsible for seeing to it that it doesn't happen in the present and ruin the future. If you don't, those who forget the mistakes of the past are doomed to repeat them. If you don't know about the mistakes of the past, you will repeat them in the present, and they will be repeated again in the future. So teach about what happened in the past that was wrong, and say to your students, look, what we did to what we call Native Americans was absolutely wrong. That's right. We're still doing it to them. What we did to the slaves that we brought here was wrong. We bought them from England. We'll blame it on England. What we did with the slaves that we bought from England and brought here was wrong. We're going to see to it that we don't have to go through that again. The way we treated women from the 20s to the 40s was absolutely wrong. Mr. Trump wants us to go through that again. Have you read this week's Time magazine?
Not this week's, no, ma'am. And
get the Time magazine for this, because somebody interviewed him, and he listed all the things he's going to do once he becomes president. And when you read that, you will be absolutely terrified.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. No, I don't even. I don't know if I'd even need to read that. I'm trying to get self-control right, and I get mad quick. I get mad quick.
No, you cannot refuse to learn in order to avoid getting angry. You'd better learn and then know what you're angry about and know why you're angry and have something you can say, here's what this fool said this week, and here's what he said he's going to do next week. And do you want this for your children, your grandchildren, or yourself? Read that Time magazine. You will be absolutely shocked and infuriated.
What I would do is I would think 2 moves ahead. Just kind of like the situation with me calling out, going out on a limb and calling you is actually what my mind frame is actually trying to get to now is just, more or less if channeling anger actually into, something positive or productive at least. And yeah, it's just been so hard with this.
But but people say, don't be angry, Jane. Anger is such an ugly emotion. And I say to them, Jesus threw the money lenders out of the temple. He got angry. He got angry at something that was wrong, and he made them put a stop to it. So don't tell me that I shouldn't be so angry. If you are my age and you have watched all this crap happening and thought it was going to get better because your uncles fought in the Second World War to free this country from what could have been a horrible situation, and now we have somebody who has never fought in a war but is willing to send young men and women to fight in a war over oil, and that's what this is about. You need to realize that you better get angry about this, and you better say, you're not going to do it to me, and you're not going to do it to my sons.
Right. So, I mean, do you believe that there will be any type of solution if there is some kind of redistribution of wealth? Everybody talks about money, but people don't realize, I believe I've had a lot of money at one point and lost it. This thing is actually a state of mind. You can have a lot of money and still be broke mentally,
I'd rather be broke with money than without it. Come on.
I tried to get me one in. I tried it.
You can't do it. Give me a choice between being broke and having money. I'll say I'll take the money.
I take 200. I take 2, Alex. I take 200.
That doesn't mean I'm going to do something ugly to get it.
Yeah.
But just to avoid being broke, give me money, but don't expect me to do something ugly to get it.
In the areas that I actually am from, though, it is dangerous to have a lot of money, or at least cash on you. But I mean, hell, these they will take you to the ATM with a gun to you. I mean, people are so desperate for money. It's like it's scary. It is dangerous though, because it's like I don't.
It wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be that way if 1% of the population didn't own most of the money. And it's 1% of 1% that own most of the money, that control most of the money in this country.
Yeah.
You know that, and I know that. And very few of them are people of color.
Right. But our law, I'm not sure. I believe this is a national law or not. But like we're buying guns now at 18 and can't buy cigarettes till 21. Where did I miss that?
Yeah, and why does anyone who isn't in the military or in law enforcement need an AR, whatever it is? Why does anyone need one of those guns?
It's kids that can't even hold them right. They got them. They holding these things and can barely walk. I'm like, what the hell? They're 12, 13 years old. They're young with these things.
Because somebody is making money by selling them.
Yeah.
When it becomes illegal to sell one of those, then all of a sudden those guns will disappear, and they'll start selling spears.
Yeah, I had to tell a group of my partners. I say, man, it looked like y'all done put the KKK out of business. Like my own people, like it's so sad with that shit. Like, excuse my language, but it's ridiculous. I can't even hardly say. That's why I had to call you, Annie. Like I gotta talk to you sometime because they crazy, they tripping, Annie. I don't even want to be around them. I hope they see this too. I don't even want to talk to them.
We need to get rid of guns. We need to get rid of AR-15s. We need to get rid of those for anybody who isn't in the military or in law enforcement. They are absolutely no reason for that other than to make money for the manufacturers.
Sure. Yes, ma'am. I understood. I mean, I don't even think you need them to patrol your neighborhoods because that's one thing we got a problem with in Austin is these cops aren't even from the neighborhood. They're just anybody. Like, I think y'all had, the 60s and 50s, y'all, more or less, it was better relationships with the law enforcement, I think, than it is today with the communities.
Well, but many of the people in law enforcement today are pale, stale males who are afraid of the future. They're afraid that people of color are going to want to do to us what we have done to them.
Ah.
And I don't think we need to worry about that. But that's the reason a whole lot of so-called white men are scared to death, because of the way they have treated people of other color groups, because they think there are other color groups. In the past, they're scared to death that when they get power, they're going to want to treat us the way we have treated them.
Yeah, that was nasty. I mean, I could, you could actually see. I mean, I'm very smart enough to know that that was just pretty much a transition from the white robes over to the uniforms, the bloodhound to the canine. I mean, the school. You know, like it seems so. It's like in like the money with the $20 bill having the Twin Tower wreck on. I mean, you know, you can fold up the 20. It looks like it's money. I mean, there's little signs in the money and stuff. It seems like we're so being played because it also has the mask.
But hey, there's something worse than that on the $20 bill and the 10 and the 5 and the 1. Right underneath, "In God We Trust." It says, "In God We Trust" on those small bills. And it says that on our coins.
Right.
If you believe in God, you don't need money.
See, that's what I think.
Listen to me. And those words weren't on there until 1953. And the words "under God" weren't in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America until the Knights of Columbus lobbied their congressmen to get the words "under God" inserted into the pledge. So every little kid has to stand up from 3rd grade to 6th grade at least and say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag with the words "under God" in it. And those people were so dumb that they put the words "under God" just before the word "indivisible." Now, the minute you put the word, think about this. The minute you put the word "under God" in there, you divide us into those who believe in God and the right God, and those who don't. They also, so when I was in high school, and I may have told you this before, when I was in high school, I went down to the restaurant to get a ride home with my dad from school. And I walked into the restaurant, and there on the wall was a sign on which it said, "In God We Trust." And on the next sentence said, "All others pay cash."
Oh, damn. Oh, really? That's all. Oh, that's called.
I think that's beautiful. "In God We Trust, all others pay cash."
Yeah.
And I started to laugh, and my dad said, "What are you laughing at?" And I said, "Look at that sign, Dad." And he read it. He said, "Oh, by God, that's right." He laughed all the way to the car. So, see, here's what I think should happen. I think that everybody who cares about this, bringing religion into our church, into our schools, and into our government, needs, every time you get a paper bill that has the words "In God We Trust" on it, you need to take a small tip on a ballpoint pen. You need to take a real tiny ballpoint pen, and underneath "In God We Trust," you need to write "All others pay cash."
All others pay cash.
Now, see, if everybody would do that, if you get caught, you go to jail.
But the world would be a better place.
The law. But the world would be a better place if somebody pulled out their $10 bill and said, "What does that say on my bill?" Isn't that funny? And then pretty soon everybody's going to be writing on it, "All others pay cash." And they're going to put all of us in jail. They're just going to put the ones they're going to put me in jail because I suggested it. I think it's time for us to be honest about this and say, if it says "In God We Trust," what if you don't believe in God? God shouldn't be on that bill. If God's going to be there, then "All others pay cash" ought to be there too.
That's right. That's only fair. It's only fair.
And it isn't on the biggest bills. It's just on the small ones.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's something else, though. See this. This is a good one. I needed this. Oh, thank you so much.
The whole thing is just so ridiculous. People say we don't teach religion in the schools. Where in the devil did the names for the days of the week come from, except from the names of gods?
What's it called?
Get over it, people.
Who? How do you say it?
Sun's Day. You're worshiping the sun. Monday is Mon's Day. That's a god. Tuesday is Thor's Day. So Thursday is Thursday. Wednesday is Woden's Day. Friday is Freya's Day. She was a goddess. Saturday is Saturn's Day. All those names are names of gods and goddesses, and we have to say them every day. We rewrite the date, 2024. It used to be AD, Anno Domini. Now we've changed it to CE, common era. But all the time I was a kid, it was AD. So we were commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ every time we wrote the letter of the year. So don't tell me we don't have religion in the schools, because we have.
Right.
We always had it there, and we still do. And teachers aren't telling the truth about the days of the week or the months of the year, because that's not in the lesson plan.
Yeah. So I mean, and if they know, do they even know?
Keep these kids as ignorant as you possibly can, because the worst thing that can happen is to raise a bunch of kids who know what they're talking about.
That's the worst thing, right? I mean, they'll be out of job, just like how the hospitals got to keep you sick. They ain't gonna have no job if you knew all the herb, everything that God's given us is right here. See, I know you. See, that's why. I know you know it all. I'm gonna be calling you.
Okay.
just to check you. I love to see.
You're gonna be calling me some really ugly names.
You look great. You're doing great. It looks. You just brighten my whole world. I'm in awe now. Thank you so much.
Where do you think I learned these things?
I'm in a book. I mean, books, of course, because but all right.
Yeah. Did I learn them in books written mostly by white folks? No, because white folks don't know these things. They've never had to learn these things. You read a book written by a black woman like Anthea Butler, who wrote White Evangelical Racism, and all of a sudden you realize that here's a woman who knows what she's talking about, because she's been through it. And she's trying to warn all of us about what's going to happen if we don't put a stop to it. And instead of putting a stop to it, we're listening to the one remaining Koch brother and the fools that are trying to take us back to the 1800s instead of listening to the Anthea Butlers.
Yeah, but see, that's why I say it seems so like it's rigged, like the game is rigged, because of how so many things have seemed like we've been able to predict like the future. Like, just, I mean, don't you seem sometimes like you're in like some type of time lapse? I mean, hey, man, I mean, in the middle of the summer, you got like, just the way the summer thing goes with the beaches, and then, but how we get ready for Christmas at the end of the year, we all spend our money at the same time. When are we gonna like stop doing all of that, basically, to maybe try to restore the economy? It seems like it does it on purpose. Like they want us to put it in there during that time of the year for taxes. For the next
I'll tell you when we could start doing it is when we say to these kids on college campuses, if you want to fight for the Palestinians, go to Palestine. Don't tell me that you care about the Palestinian and the Jewish problem as long as you're rioting and protesting here.
You jeopardize them.
If you really care about them, go over there, spend the money, and go over there and fight that battle and clean up the mess that the Jews have created in Palestine. Have you seen what has happened with the homes and the businesses and everything in Gaza? It is absolutely insane. If you want to make a difference, go over there. All those young people who are going to graduate from college this week should graduate quietly, and then quietly get on an airplane and take their money and their determination and their devotion to justice and rebuild Palestine. Rebuild Palestine. Instead of trying to wreck the college, rebuild Palestine. No. Now, I have no time for what the Jews are doing to Palestine. Absolutely not. They should never have partitioned Israel the way we did after the Second World War. They should never have forced the Palestinians off their land. They should have said to the Jews, we're going to put you in Egypt or Iran or Iraq. Any one of those countries over there had lots and lots of space. They could have put those Jews from the Holocaust in there. Instead, they moved the Palestinians off their land and refused to have a two-state solution to the problem. The Palestinians deserve to have their own state. Right. All we have to do is get Netanyahu to agree to a two-state solution. We don't want to do that. We don't want to offend him. We better offend him.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to get some kind of results, because right now he's offending the hell out of us. I tell you, well, I mean, the entire world, he's causing so much, like, it's just so distracting with all of that, because of,
he's doing unto others what Germans did unto his people.
Is he
and
from
that
Switzerland?
isn't,
He's from Switzerland,
What?
right, or something like that. Is he? Ain't his people from Switzerland? Trump's people.
Netanyahu's?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
we're not talking about Trump. We're talking about Netanyahu's.
Oh man, Yahoo's. Oh, I thought you were talking about Trump.
Trump,
Oh Lord,
Trump
I
is,
was like,
Trump is no,
no.
Trump
Oh,
is.
I just see. I just get like it's me too. It's that's because it's I don't like it's
Trump
so
is,
weird. I don't have. It seems like I don't have a dog in the fight.
Yes, you do. As long as you're a human being, you have a dog in the fight, and you have the responsibility to say you will not do to them what I don't want you to do to me. Because if it's all right for you to do that to them this week, you can turn back on me again next week.
Okay.
If we allow them to do this to the Palestinians or to the Jews, then they will say, you let us do it to the Palestinians. What's your problem?
That's right.
You think you're better than they are? Because if you aren't, we can do it to you now. So we have to resist the kind of thing that's happening to the Palestinians, but we also have to resist the kind of thing that college students who don't have a dog in that fight are doing on college campuses this week. And many of them are being activated by people who aren't Palestinian and who aren't Jewish, who are just have a need to cause problems.
I seen that with that George Floyd. How those little militias. I didn't even know it was that many like little groups around. It's like these people came from out of nowhere. Like they were
not all of them did.
Well, I don't know where I had never seen that. I was like, what?
Hey, but they didn't come in and do violence. They protested, but they didn't burn any buildings. They didn't kill anyone. They didn't destroy anything. They were simply protesting the ugliness of what had happened to him. And they should have done that. Absolutely. There's no reason why they wouldn't do it. Nevertheless, what these college students are trying to defeat is not some ugly thing that happened to someone in this country. It's something ugly that's happening in another country, and we would rather protest it here than go over there and join the military or do whatever we have to help to clean up that mess.
Right. Did you ever see that clip with Kyle Rittenhouse? You know about Kyle Rittenhouse, right? The guy that actually did. I mean, but he got off. I mean, what? What? Did we just witness in real time somebody get away with murder?
Yep. And then got invited to the president's house.
Oh, and the insult comes, of course. The dragging. Yeah. Because see, what they're doing, a lot of people don't realize is they're playing off of a lot of our stupidity. So sometimes, when you would make actually a brilliant joke, some people are not even smart enough to know they're being insulted sometimes.
Oh no.
It's great. So you sit there and talk about him, and he just, boy, Trump. But now people don't even know they're being insulted.
No. They think they're just so glad to have the attention.
Yeah, fame over any morals. Everybody lost their moral compass. But Miss Elliott, that's all I wanted. I'll call you probably tomorrow or another time. That's all I wanted. I just want to say hey, and I missed you. Right. And I'll be up there to see you probably this summer.
Okay, I'm going to be here.
Thank you so much.
I've got a perfectly lovely building that you can stay in. However, there are a number of spirits in the building.
That's all right. My mama probably in there. I need to talk to her. She did, we got to talk.
She's there. We'll take out my wands and go and see if she's there.
That's her right there.
Okay, we'll do that. I see her. Yep. And is that your father?
No, that was me. That's me. That's actually one of the pictures. Yes, me and my mother. That's the only picture. That's actually a painting, a little painting that I had done because we never had a picture together like that. Just me and her. So I had that. My actual fiance had that painting.
Well, I'll see you this summer. Okay.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You have a good one, Miss Elliott. Bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye.